Abdullah Hajjah report that was the Jumat sermon reminder to the worshippers.
Ustaz Abdul Qadir Umar in his sermon encourages the congregants to remain steadfast in their beliefs and faith in Allah, who has promised to test mankind with trials of good and bad situations.
Whenever Allah tests you, you have to exercise patience, and you have to know that you are the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever decision Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes for you or against you is definite. There must be a wisdom behind that testing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Worshippers corroborated the message of the cleric.
Decreeing and agreeing to everything that happened to oneself, whether good or bad, is a strong form of faith. Let's not see if something bad happened, let's not feel it's someone that did this to me. Let us know that it is decreed from Allah.
The best we can achieve is to be patient with everything that comes our way in the hope for something good, for reward at the same time. Because for every time that we are patient, it is written for us that we are actually worshiping Allah.
The sermon also urges worshippers to always put their trust in Allah as the ultimate comforter, reminding them of the reward for the patient ones. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
On security, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has reiterated commitment of the Nigerian police force in concert with other security agencies to ensure the safety of all residents within the country. Baba similarly reiterated the commitment of the Nigerian police to eliminate all threats as well as protection of lives and property of all residents in the country. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCCC, says the incessant vandalism of critical telecom infrastructure in the country explains the poor quality of service to customers, which subsequently is affecting a wide range of stakeholders in the telecommunication industry. Abdullah Ajia examines this concern vis-a-vis citizens' responsibility in protecting national assets.
Nigeria, no doubt, is one important major player in African telecommunications. The country over time has expended huge amount of money to ensure that the telecom sector contribute to the economy outside oil. Now, government on its part has continued to invest hugely in the development of critical infrastructure. A recent revelation from the NCC reports cases of reported major damage to critical telecom infrastructure at 50,000 in 5 years. That is to say, 10,000 annually. This development has serious concern among the regulator and a spectrum of industry players, which they say pose a threat to Nigeria's digital policy. Now, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has been spearheading a campaign against vandalism of the telecom infrastructure in the country. This, they explain, is the reason why customers or consumers experience failed calls, undelivered, short messages, among other challenges that this issue has caused.
Sometimes when I want to do subscription, it bounces back, and I have to try it over and over again. It is misnomer to go and vandalize public facilities like network facilities because it helps all and sundry, not just making call, but in educational purposes. I am imploring all and sundry to refrain from that act.
The security agency is supposed to be working all over. They're supposed to look at all the angle that they put the network or cable.
Well, I think the necessary people involved should take action. They should be able to monitor the people involved in it to be able to reduce the vandalization.
Well, just like in the views of Simon, Shagbam, and so many other respondents, it is important, they say, that all hands must be on deck to work with security agencies and the regulator to contain this national criminality that affects virtually every subscriber in the country. In Abuja, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the FCT administration has reclaimed the plot of land allocated to the Nigerian Law School in Buari, but encroached on. Onozi Yakubu tells us more.
The plot belonging to the Nigerian Law School Buari, Abuja, was used as a safe haven for criminally minded people whose activities have continued to generate concern to the authority. Worried by the security threats, officials of the FCT administration stormed the area and pulled down illegal structures and shanties. Other contravening structures, particularly along the road corridor, were also touched to ensure sanity in Buari town.
It's not a law school thing, it's a full Buari cleanup. But areas opposite the law school appear to have been badly raped when it comes to the contravention against the master plan. So we are going down stretch, removing all illegalities. What we are doing is not houses, but container, bachas, illegality, shanties, and criminal hideout all across the stretch.
Now that the land belonging to the Nigerian Law School has been reclaimed, the tax team believes the onus now lies on the authority to make judicious use of the affected plot to avoid further encroachment. Onozi Yakubu, NTA News.
Motorists in the Federal Capital Territory are still finding it difficult to buy fuel at the filling stations due to long queues. Mariam George Jutubo, who visited the streets of Abuja, reports that those who spoke with her appealed to federal government to find lasting solution to this problem.
For some weeks now, most filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory have been characterized by long queues, with consumers eagerly and patiently waiting to get the products.
We are the oil producing country. Is it the best? It's not. We are suffering. What we had before is that what made the first scarcity was the flood in the Lokoja. But no more flood now. We don't know what is happening again. So that's our surprise.
The condition of Nigeria is beyond our expectation. It's not what we voted for. Since morning I've been on the line for me to get a fuel. Yet we have never gotten the fuel. We plead with the government. Let government help us.
Aside difficulties in getting the product, there are discrepancies in the prices of the product from one filling station to the other, which has left consumers wondering if there are authorities regulating these prices.
The issue is, if you don't want to queue here, you go outskirts of Abuja, like Maraba, Waman village there. A lot of my colleagues there, they get the fuel by 250 per liter. Then Kaduna Road, the same thing, 235 thereabout. But if you come into the town, you must queue in order to get the fuel in accurate price, which is 174, 180 thereabout.
The fuel scarcity bites harder. Most black marketers are having a field day. The question on the lips of many is, when will this hardship end? From Abuja, Mariam George Jutubo.
The FCTA Directorate of Road Traffic Services has advised that rickety vehicles be taken off the roads. The RTS Head of Operations, Deborah Osho, reiterated this during a sensitization and enforcement exercise in Abuja. Odiri Ogura Rutere has details.
That was the scenario at Aminu Kano Crescent by Barnes Junction and Berger Roundabout during the sensitization and enforcement on rickety vehicles on the road. Head of Operations, Directorate of Road Traffic Services, Deborah Osho, stressed the need for motorists to put their